how much of a role do you think these stressors, the things we've been talking about, play in burnout and in this seemingly epidemic of burnout? I mean, we just went through the quiet quitting or whatever it was called, but how much of this idea of avoiding our values and our feelings is leading to these struggles we're seeing in the workplace?
Yeah. So I think since the pandemic, the world has had a bit of value awakening. I don't think we're talking about it enough, but there was a specific playbook about work that existed before the pandemic. If you did X, you get Y, and this is what you could do, and this is what you can do. You can't work from home if you work in finances, for example. That was a yes or no. I worked at a hospital that the hospital was like, nope, nobody can work from home. You work
Yep.
And so there was a playbook that was value driven by corporations, and people played along. Then the pandemic hit. And then you had to sort of like look at your life, and there was a threat with the pandemic, right? To your safety, to the ones that you love. And so there's a fear component, and then a shift on like, what do I care about? Because you never got to even ask it because you didn't get a chance to, right? The playbook suggests you had to be at work 9 to 5. That's what you did. And now you can't work from home. Wait a minute. I can have lunch with my family. Wait a minute. I actually need to exercise, and I can do that. Wait a minute. And so there's this value shift that happened by actions. So it was like actions to value, not values to action. The actions changed. You started to notice what you care about. And now we're in this post-pandemic. And I think the quitting was the sense of like, if you're going to put me in that box again, I'm not doing it anymore. Right. I don't think people know to say it's because my values are violated, but like something doesn't fit. And so people are changing careers, they're changing jobs, and I believe we're in the beginning of a value realignment, that people are thinking, how do I transition better to create a life that I'm not paying price on anymore?
Right. You just kind of reiterated your own thesis, which I love, which is this idea of we can find values by finding where we feel pain and asking why. And that's also what you're talking about here, right? If we are going along in our lives, in our professional lives, and then the pandemic hits, so we're forced to a different behavior. And then as the pandemic lifts, for example, our behavior shifts back and we notice pain, we can say, why is that, right? So that happens for a lot of people. Like, to your point, why do I hate commuting now? Well, you probably always did. You just figured out a way to avoid it. Or, why is this job or this boss or this whatever not working? That's an interesting kind of working backwards into that. I could see that being a skill or a tactic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I am writing a third book on transitions and values just for that reason.
See that? Look, and I didn't even know that. I'm just reading your mind.